Welcome back to part 2 of my character design series. In today's video, I'm going through how to add in some extras onto the face. You could do bows or glasses, anything like that. And then moving on to the body of the character. So getting started, I'm just going to use the ellipse tool. And I'm going to make perfectly round circle holding shift. And I want to switch that gray from the fill into the stroke. And then I want to thicken up that stroke. And I'm going to change that gray to maybe an orange. Yeah, I like the orange. And holding Option or Alt, I'm just going to duplicate and hold Shift. And then using the pen tool, just going to create a line between the two rims. So you could be done with glasses that way. It's definitely the easiest way to get started if you haven't made glasses before, is just to do kind of the round ones. You could very easily make these into sunglasses by choosing a gray. You could even do a gradient. If you're interested in doing kind of more complex glasses, it's worth Googling like vector glasses or vector sunglasses and taking a look at the shapes of the glasses themselves and trying to replicate it in your own style. Because I am decreasing the size of these, I just want to go ahead and expand the stroke. All you have to do is select the object and then go Layer, Expand Stroke. Another thing I like to add to characters are bows, so either like a bow tie or a bow, in this case around the ear. So I use the triangle tool, grabbing the corner tool to soften those edges. And you can do it for that center one as well. Copy and paste using Command C, Command V. And then rotate horizontally. And then you can grab either the rectangle tool or the rounded rectangle tool. So sometimes I like to make the center slightly darker than the bows. I like to take the brush tool with a darker color and just add in some lines to add some depth. And I also like to usually add some on that top part of the bow as well. Once again, I'm just going to expand these strokes. You can also add in some designs into the bow themselves. So I've done polka dotted bows, and I've actually used some of my own patterns in bows. So like I was mentioning, if you wanted a bow around the ear or hair, if you're doing a person, it's definitely something that I do quite often. You could also have this as a bow tie. So either over the face or hidden below. And I actually really like the bow around the ear, which is completely changing up my original plan for the character. Which does happen, like sometimes halfway between I completely change my mind on what I was doing just because of the way I've designed. Okay, so moving on to the body of the animal. I'm just going to decrease the size of the face. I typically do not design in kind of a realistic fashion when it comes to characters, especially animals. I tend to do more anthropomorphic style, but for this video I am going to go over the basics of doing kind of more of the realistic animal body shape. And this is front facing, and once again I really would recommend either looking at your pets and the shapes that kind of make up their body, or Google images of different animals that you are wanting to create. So using the ellipse, making a kind of an oval shape, and make sure to convert to curves before. Select this bottom one, and then I like to shift it up to kind of flatten out that bottom. And then using the rounded rectangle tool, and then the ellipse tool, then I'm going to rotate this oval, copy and paste using Command C and then Command V, flip horizontally, copy and paste one more time, rotate, and then you have kind of like a very basic leg and paw. You can always differentiate these by using tones of colors. So if I wanted to make this one slightly darker, holding Option or Alt to duplicate, and then I am going to enlarge these. And then to create the back, it's a lot like creating the body using the ellipse tool. I'm actually going to darken that up again, just slightly. Convert to curves. You don't have to flatten that bottom, but I am, and then I'm going to pull out that side. Layer behind using the Command and left bracket. And then you can use the ellipse tool again. So there's one way of doing a body. I'm just going to move this off to the side. So like I mentioned earlier, I like to do kind of more human characteristics on my characters. If you wanted to do a dress, it's actually really easy to start off with a rectangle. I like to soften up those bottom edges slightly, and then those top ones, use the node tool or A on your keyboard, and then just bring those in. I like to go ahead and add some details on to the clothing before I add them to my character. So you can do that with the brush tool or even some of your shapes. I think to keep it simple, I'm just going to add some polka dots to the dress. And if you want to add like a collar, it's actually really easy to do with the rectangle tool. Convert to curves and then really round that one corner. And if you want to add on some sleeves, and obviously you can soften any of the corners that you would like. If you want to do kind of like a cap sleeve, you can do the rectangle, convert to curves, and then soften the top two. For mine, I actually don't think that I'm going to do a sleeve at all. So you can create arms using the pen tool or using the rectangle tool. So the first thing I like to do is to make the arm, the top part of the arm. And then you can kind of choose where you want to go from there. The arm can come in overlapping to the front, maybe because the character is holding something. The arm can go straight down, or it can go straight out to the side like it is. Just add on something for a hand. So like I said, you could leave it exactly like this. I think I'm going to have my character hold something. So make sure to align these up and then convert to curves. And I like to soften the elbow. And if things are not matching up correctly, you can always adjust this so that it does. And once again, you could add on some stripes if you wanted. And then adding legs. I don't like to do just a plain rectangle as a leg. I like to make the bottom part of the leg smaller than the top, so convert to curves, and then with the node tool, just bring in that bottom. And then I like to make shoes by using the rectangle tool. And then using the corner tool, really round that top one. And then slightly round the remaining ones. So there is one way of doing the body. If you wanted to do a shirt instead, you would do a lot like the dress. So start with a rectangle to select the top two and really round those. And then slightly do the bottom. So you may have to kind of edit the arms some. But I like this edge on the shirt because to me it looks kind of like the, I think it's the style of shirt is like a baseball tee or something like that. And for this one I'm not going to go through adding any details onto the shirt. But for the base, if you want to do, let's say jeans, rounded rectangle. And just like we did with the legs here, you can use a rectangle, convert to curves, and then edit the base so it is thinner than the top. So there's another way of doing the body. You can see how a different style works. So I hope you enjoyed part 2 of character design. Part 3 is all on creating the background or the environment that the character is in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.